lovely being here. All I can hear are sort of humming sounds in the distance. I think it's the bees. I can definitely tell a swarm from distance, or a potential swarm happening. And it's a good sign that I've left all the wildflower. I haven't chopped it down yet because I want it to set seed for next year. If we have another good year of rain, it will come again. But we're now into May and it's normally very hot, but the humidity has allowed us to have a few rainstorms and early morning cloud cover. I remember this time last year and everything was just frying. We're talking about friars. The community here is slowly going over to becoming, I would say, monastic in its appeal. And I'm not quite there. Certainly, I'd like to see it develop one day as an eco-community with a huge sense of spirituality underneath it. And the idea is that I will only attract those types of people who are interested in developing that spirituality as a foundation bed. Anyhow, this song's called I'm Legend, and a lot of that energy which I've expended in my journeys on a bicycle, Africa, Palestine, Camino de Santiago, well, that requires a spiritual foundation also. So I wrote this one whilst I was in a hammock swinging between two trees, and in a way it's a disengagement from the sort of materialistic outlook of life. And I hope you will see the happy tone of it in a way, because it's supposed to be a release of the material burden that many of you actually experience. Here we go, and I'll talk more about it afterwards. You see my name, it's written in vain. You dream of heroes like rabbits popping out of, holes. But you never thought to enter yourself. Can't see what's beyond, really you're not the kind. Here we play with the darkness. With no return address. Don't even think to come looking for me. You are no Alice in Wonderland, no lost beauty in my life. 'cause you know I look out to you from another universe. Way ahead of your time. I look out to you from another universe. Way ahead of your time. Every day my life is 100 of your strife. You thought you dragged me out like a genie from a spell, but you rubbed me up the wrong way, darling. Your lights don't shine, living in that gloomy vine, calling any which way you can. Grasping out after the day. But you never looked in that one obvious place. You are no Alice in Wonderland, no lost beauty in my life. 'Cause you know I look out to you from another universe. Yeah, way ahead of your time. 'Cause I look out to you from another universe. Way ahead of your time. Truth, baby, is closer than you think. It's burning to get out there in the darkness. If only you could stop dousing those flames. And there you find your legend hovering above your love game. 'Cause you know I look out to you from another universe. Way ahead of your time. 'Cause I look out to you from another universe. Way ahead, yeah, of your time. Okay, I need a drummer now. I'm thinking about you, Amir. makes one wonder how it all ends. Will the actors play it cool, or will the flowers will bloom? The colors of my emotions are painted on a warpath. Behind the rainbow is my anger. I am the angel of light in shining armor. I am legend. Well, I'm thinking that I could actually play that on a different type of guitar, maybe electric, and picked up for decades. But I am legend. My patrocinador, or my sponsor on that trip to Poland in which I wrote those lyrics, was Beach Point at Cambrils, and his name was Pity, or Pablo. And he said to me, you know, Merlin, you're a legend. You're just a legend, man. Of course I'm going to support you. So that's just one journey. And when I first heard that, someone throw that epithet at me, I was approaching, it was dark. I was in a place called Banjul in the Gambia, and there's a power cut, and couldn't see a thing. I couldn't even see the moon or anything of the sort. So all I could do is pick up my guitar whilst I was waiting for my two hosts to come along and find me, and I just played my music next to this meat vendor, grilled meat vendor, who was enjoying my music for free. Unfortunately, I didn't get any food from him, but when my two friends turned up from Eco Gambia, they said, Merlin, you know, you're a legend. And to finish that journey was life-threatening at one stage. Going through a desert, malnutrition, no money, hungry, and all sorts of things. And at which point I began to question a lot of things, but the one thing I never questioned was my determination, my ability to go to the end. And being self-defined and self-created is the complete freedom that most people are ignorant to now. If you cannot create yourself and your own personality, then you will never know your limits. And that's a paradox. You will never know your limits because those limits have been defined by you. But my limits, well, I obviously do have limits, but it's only when I think about them that you have limits. But when you're on the road and when it's very spiritual and you're in almost a rapture of nature, you're in bliss, taking it all in, it's more than survival. It's an illimitable vision. You just keep going because you have no limits.